Hey everyone, it's Jordan from the Music Zoo. Today I'm not at the Music Zoo, I'm in El Cajon, California at Taylor Guitars with my friend Andy Powers, Chief Guitar Designer. What's up, Andy? How are you?
Great to see you.
Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me about Gold Label and the new collection from Taylor, which is just out this year. I want to start by talking about my first introduction to Gold Label, which was at NAMM 2025.
Right.
And we're all at the Catch event, and Mike Venezia, our rep, is like, we have something new to show you. Come check it out. It's over here. And if you're not familiar with the Catch event, 200 people, everyone's drinking, eating, having a good time. It's super loud. And I first picked up, I think it was the K14, the Koa Super Auditorium.
Yeah.
And the power out of this guitar, I was like, whoa, you hit one E chord. This is different than any Taylor. Yeah,
Everybody's got that chord.
Yeah, this is different than any other Taylor I've ever played before. Super cool, unique within the Taylor lineup. And so I want to talk to you about the development of the guitar. And I kind of came up with my first question, which was comparing guitar designing to songwriting. What for you would come first? The sound, a certain material that you want to work with, like someone has a new pedal they want to create a song with. Mm-hmm. What comes for you first in guitar designing?
You know, that's a really good question, because there are a lot of parallels between songwriting and creating anything else. Guitar, for example. And it's not always a consistent process. Like totally. There are times when I go, okay, specifically I want to create a guitar that makes this kind of sound that looks like this. You know, you can kind of like paint the picture of what the done thing should be, and you go, okay, now just go make it. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I've built guitars like that, especially if it's for like an artist or somebody who has something very specific in mind, they're trying to achieve something. Then you just go do that. That would be like setting out to say, I want to write a song, medium tempo, minor key. You know, you kind of like mechanically can work out the details of what that looks like. But for me, what I've found is that a lot of the more interesting development is more of a collection of ideas. It's kind of like some songwriters I know, they'll keep notebooks of, well, I've got this hook, or I've got this verse, I've got this chorus, these parts, and go, I'm not sure how the rest of the song plays out yet, but I like that idea.
Right.
I'll just write it down, put it on a shelf. And then every once in a while you take these things out and you kind of have like almost like a running tally or like a memory of all these different ideas. You go, that would be cool. I'm not sure where that one should go yet. And then eventually you see the right pieces come together to go, this was something that should exist. And so this guitar came together as kind of the sum of all these parts. You go, well, we're working with this V-class bracing architecture. That's a very adaptable design, so you can deliberately create different kinds of sounds with it. Mm-hmm. That's interesting. Well, this action control neck design came about. Oh, that gives me some other pieces. I've got this shape that I really like. You know, if I put this and this and this together, I've got the framework of a really interesting sounding guitar that does these unique things that's kind of special in its own way. Maybe I'll just put the decorative appointments out and then, hey, the guitar's done.
Yeah.
Let's start making this.
All right, cool. Get to it.
So it's kind of like songwriting in that way.
That's awesome. I think we might have just answered or we're touching on a couple of my other questions. And the second one was touching on V-Class being this open source engine, because now this is V-Class fan bracing, right? Mm-hmm. And I think I watched another interview with you in another store where you talked about that being this modular thing where you could apply it to different shapes. How did that start to be? When did you realize V-Class could be this changed up
that
thing?
Started actually early on, even before we launched the very first edition. We came out with, it was the Builders, what we call the Builders Edition. It was a K14 guitar, and I guess 2017 or 2018, something like that. At that point, I'd worked with that design for, I think, four-ish years. Okay. Trying different options, and even at the very first guitar that I built with that, it became apparent halfway through building that guitar, this gives me all kinds of ability to go, what do we want this to be like? I could create a sound like that. I could create one like that. Oh, it's a way more controllable platform to work from. And so, having talked about it, researched it, developed it for several years, went, okay, first thing that makes sense to do is a lot of what we've already done. It's like, well, that's kind of a sound that we're known for. Great, let's give it a little more and kind of further refine and develop it that way.
Nice.
And so yeah, that was pretty apparent right up front.
When did the action control deck come to be? You talked about we're bringing back the songwriting. When did that idea first come into you?
Well, the desire in my first
there's a desire there, yeah.
That was actually probably 10 years ago.
Oh, wow, okay.
So it's not recent in
Gotcha.
a lot of ways, but I will also admit that it took me that long to figure out how exactly it should work.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of engineering going to that for sure.
Yeah, it's like one of those times in life where you go through so many different iterations and work out how it could work, and then you realize, well, it was actually pretty simple. Once it's there sitting in front of you on the workbench, you go, now I can see how simple it really is, and that's what allows it to work. But man, that was a long way around that mountain before I could get to the top of it.
Totally.
So yeah, that one was, I was looking through some old shop notebooks and went, oh, I think that was my first attempt at that. That got me like 90% of the way there and 90% left to go. You go, I got pretty far and realized this will never work the way that we're going to try and put something together. So yeah, I've been working on it ever since.
And then obviously you have to like show everyone in the factory the idea, present it, and then scale it up, tool up.
Yeah,
to produce it,
yeah.
right?
And so with anything, you've got the design on one hand. Let's say the design is the thing and it's a done version of that design, which those early attempts, they were certainly not a done version of that design. But then you also have your ability to make it. You need both parts.
Yeah.
So you need the design to be great, but you also need the ability to make it and make it consistently, make it repeatably. That means whatever tools you need, whatever fixtures, however you're going to go to execute it, both parts have to be in balance with each other.
Right, for sure.
And so that's in a manufacturing environment, that's a big part of the challenge. Like I might be able to build the one by hand with chisels and things, go, okay, that's cool. Could I do 1,000? Yeah. Oh, I'm not sure I'll live long enough to do that.
Yeah. Right. Teaching the team how to do it, how to get it all smoothly running within the factory, and then out to dealers, then showing dealers how to use the action control neck, and dealers showing guitar players around the world
all of it,
all the benefits that come with it. And so maybe let's go from construction. We hit the V class and the shapes, or we didn't really hit shapes yet, but what within the Taylor lineup did you think was missing that led to Gold Label looking and sounding like it does? Like it's got clearly like the 1930s and 40s aesthetic to it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I grew up with a lot of that kind of guitar. I've grown up with a lot of different styles of guitars, different kinds of instruments, and I appreciate it. I mean, it's kind of interesting when Bob and I compare like our guitar making backgrounds. You know, he started building the guitars he wanted to build right away because that's what he knew. He goes, I'm going to just create what I want. In my case, yeah, I did some of that, but I also worked on past generations of instruments. And I've played in a lot of different styles of music. I've worked on a lot of different instruments. And so I developed an affinity for different eras and different makers, different styles of music. I go like, well, sometimes they're almost like comfort food or something. Like you kind of miss that flavor to go, yeah, I'd like some of that.
Yeah.
You know, and as Taylor guitars, as we've grown in the last 50 years, it's very clear what a modern Taylor acoustic guitar is. Well, we could look at, say, an 814 or a Builder's Edition K14 or one of those kind of ultra high definition, super modern acoustic guitars.
Piano-like.
Yeah, it's almost orchestral, like a classical instrument or something. I go, that's brilliant. It's wonderful. And some days, that's not what I'm in the mood for.
You want a different flavor ice cream.
Exactly. I miss that flavor. I would like to have some of it. Maybe not in the exact form that I remember working on or anything like that. I'm not going to build a reproduction of something that used to exist.
Yeah.
I've done that. It's fun, but that's not really where I'm at as a guitar maker. But I'd like to take some of those inspirations, some of the aesthetic cues, some of the sonic, kind of like the fingerprints of that, and go, oh yeah, that's what the top end, that's the feeling that I used to have when I'd play an instrument.
Of that era.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. I think that's a really unique part of this guitar? Because so many manufacturers in the guitar industry, electrics, were all obsessed with the 1950s and 1960s, and a lot of brands make kind of 95% copies of guitars from the 19s and 60s. That's cool. It's their own flavor of it, but this is like you've taken those inspirations and made something that I think is still pretty new while being familiar.
Well, it's kind of like when a musician takes their influences and writes a new song or creates a new kind of sound or makes a new record. Go, well, you're not trying to duplicate, you're not trying to do covers of your influences songs. You're not trying to do that. Maybe you are. Maybe you are taking the exact song that person recorded or this person wrote, but then you're going to put your own flavor to it. Right. You're going to create your own sound around it, or you'll just use that as the inspiration for what you want to make.
Right.
So it's kind of similar to the way a lot of musicians treat their musical influences.
Yeah, even if you're making a cover, ideally you have your own DNA put in there. I like that we're using the songwriting as a comparison here. I think it's working
exactly.
well. Yeah, let's talk about the different body shapes that are available within the Gold label. We started off with the Super Auditorium. We have the 8, 14, and now the 4 within the Gold label is a Super Auditorium, not a Grand Auditorium, right? It's a little bit deeper. Did you first start to use a traditional GA shape and then realize that this was necessary to make it deeper?
This one was actually, this one was kind of interesting because it was a new shape to begin with.
Got you.
I had created this shape that has, I don't know, in some ways it has a little bit more classical guitar and interestingly archtop guitar.
Totally, yeah.
Kind of
it's
form. It's
bout.
like a little rounder in the lower bout. The waist is a little smaller radius there. It's it's like a real nicely proportioned set of curves. So I had that shape, and the idea of using concert to describe a small body, auditorium to describe a larger body, those go back a long ways in guitar history. And so I looked at the measurement of this and went, well, it's kind of in what we describe as an auditorium size range, but it's a new set of curves, new shape. So it's not a grand auditorium that we've been known for. It's maybe a little bit bigger. So what's a little bit bigger than something that's grand? It's still an auditorium. I want that word. So we picked Super.
It works.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then after that, the second wave of guitars we had, the Grand Pacifics. How did you decide to use the GP as the second version of the guitar?
That one was actually a very easy choice.
Okay, gotcha.
Because that guitar it was kind of the first instrument that followed like our Builder's Edition guitars in the V-Class kind of launch. Went, man, I love this shape. It's kind of a slope or round shoulder dread sort of with a little more pinched weight, like real attractive shape to me. And so we went about as far as we were willing to go while still keeping a lot of Taylor characteristics, which were slim, relatively shallow body, slightly more modern voice, that real kind of already mixed and mastered, super refined kind of thing, which is great. I like those guitars a lot. But when I started to build the Super Auditorium with these attributes, went, oh, well, the obvious choice next is I'm doing that Grand Pacific because that is right in that lane. It's just begging for that to get those treatments.
Cool. And I guess we might get a sneak peek, undisclosed, for what's coming next today. That's why we fly across the country to see what's coming next.
There's always something.
There's always something. Yeah, I know you're always thinking what is next. I kind of want to also lastly touch on like the cosmetics of the guitar. Like I think it's really bold and cool that it's a different Taylor logo on the headstock than a non-Gold label guitar.
Right.
I want to know, like, was anyone around the factory being like, I don't know if we should change the logo? Did you meet any?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got a 50-year history of building guitars that are known all around the world. And with that come a trade dress that's associated with the brand, with our maker. It's like a maker's mark.
Totally.
Traditionally, that headstock crown, even more than the logo, that signified the maker, right?
Shape. Correct.
And so when I started thinking about this guitar, I'm like looking at the style of it, the sound that comes out of it. I go, I just can't do it. they don't match.
Yeah.
And so I started drawing out some other things that I'd played with. And yeah, I got a few raised eyebrows.
I bet. Yeah,
but I think it was the right thing to do for the guitar. The guitar needed it.
Goes back to let's finish it. The song needs the right art.
Yeah,
if
exactly.
You had a metal record with a waterfall on the cover and it was all sunshine.
Sunshine and rainbows
and
I don't know if it really fits.
And all. We want to make sure the whole package fits.
Yeah.
And I think the Gold Label stuff, it's just a beautiful guitar. It's a wonderful collection. I'm excited to see what's next. What are you excited about for next in the Gold Label?
Oh, I'm having a lot of fun building these. And there's a couple of different trimmings and some different wood pairings that we're going to be building these guitars with. So it feels like a whole new world that we haven't gotten to explore as Taylor guitars.
That's exciting. Like seeing what this configuration opens up for like Koa in a certain body shape.
Right.
Wow, that's really
It's
fun.
like,
yeah.
Okay, so this one, it has a Koa back and sides on. That's great. You know how good mahogany and spruce is? It is such a good wood combination. Like there are good reasons that is a classic pairing. Same with within the GP guitars. We started launching those as a 717 guitar with East Indian rosewood on the back and sides and roasted spruce top, with mahogany on the back and sides and spruce. Okay, well, what about with Honduran rosewood, which is harder, denser? It's difficult to work with.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's hard to work with, but man, you imagine what that would be like and go, ooh, kind of takes my breath away for a minute. That would be an exciting guitar to build. So there's a lot of cool stuff coming.
Yeah, it really opens up the possibilities for what we all have used for Tonewood combinations for years and years.
Yeah,
I'm excited to see what it brings. Yeah. Well, I invite everyone watching to come on down to the Music Zoo to try out a Gold Label collection guitar. Just like me, if you thought you knew what a Taylor guitar was about, you should try the Gold Labels and see for yourself how they are. You'll have my NAMM 2025 catch experience too. Be sure to visit us at themusiczoo.com for all your Taylor needs. Andy, thank you so much for all your time.
It's my pleasure.
Can't wait to see what's next.